Is this not why you are here?
I address you tonight, but as a citizen of humanity. We are faced with the very gravest of challenges.
Back, everybody, to another episode of Live from the Plantation. I'm Spartacus 2.0, a.k.a. Jerry Metcalf, and with me, as usual, upstairs, across the gallery on his own prison phone, is Lucifer 777.
What up, Joe?
So, today we're going to be discussing prison health care, or as we like to unhappily call it here on the plantation, is prison death care.
Yeah,
with that being said, yeah, you want to kick us off? You want me to kick us off? How you want to start this?
I'll kick us off. I'll kick us off,
right,
Brody, because I got something to say about it, man, for sure. So, yeah, as far as like prison health care, I mean, there's nothing healthy about it, right? They don't care about our health or well-being in this motherfucker, right? So you can you can vouch for this, right? How many times they didn't switch over like the whole like program for like healthcare? Like now we have something based in Texas now, but we live in like we are in Michigan. Like how the fuck? I don't understand, right?
Know.
We got one of the best. We got one of the best facilities, like Michigan and Michigan State. Like their whole like little system is like a well-oiled machine. And you can see all these guys in here, man. Like these guys got limps. They got bowed backs. I see somebody with a whole apparatus to keep the spine straight in this motherfucker. Like he got a walker. Like he cancer stuff like that. You know. It's a litany of things, man, that need to be done and need to be fixed. And like the state of Michigan is like seemingly don't offer any remedies to this shit, man. It's just like fuck it, just go ahead and do what you do. We just cut into you and then see how you heal from there. It's crazy.
This is one of those things where in prison I can usually find at least one bright spot, but with healthcare there is no bright spot. I guess the dentist, you know, the lady that cleans our teeth, she's really good, but
she's pretty cool. She's pretty cool. I mean, yeah, it could be. It could be considered healthcare for sure.
Okay, so that's the one bright spot. Everything else is negative. So we want to get into that, because listen, once I start on this, it's going to be a while. Because I've been in prison for 28 years, and it's been nothing but bad, and it's been going downhill since day one.
Speak your truth.
I'm getting ready to go. What made us do this prison healthcare podcast today is because 3 days from now I'm going to get a colonoscopy, and I've gotten one before. I had one about 5 years ago, and so I was thinking, man, we've been putting off doing this podcast on healthcare, just first off because it's so overwhelming. There's so much wrong and so much bad, and it's like no matter what we say, we're not going to do it justice, and I mean we're not going to do the negativity justice. So I think I'm just going to roll with some of the things they've done to me over the years, and then we'll go from there. So,
yeah,
or my friends that they've killed. And so let's see. I'm going to start with what I consider the absolute worst. So, we had this doctor here, and the MDOC or the state, they hire doctors who can't get insured anywhere else. We had this doctor who had been booted out of several other states. He calls at the time. I'm going over there, and my family has a history of colon problems. So they called me over there and got me scared, thinking, "Oh man, Jerry might have colon cancer or something." They're doing these tests, and so this doctor, I go over there, and he gives me a digital rectal exam. Okay, which is okay. That's a normal thing. You got to go in there and check things out, I guess. And about 3 weeks later, he calls me back over there, and he's making weird jokes. He's got a glove on. He says he's got this little pack. Yeah. And I'm like, didn't I just have one of these? What am I doing here? And he's like, well, you know, we got to double check. And he gives me some like doctor speak bullshit that I don't understand. Then he starts making odd jokes, but we're supposed to trust doctors. And until this moment in my life, I did. I thought they were always there to help us. So he opens up this little packet and he's squeezing this jelly shit onto his finger and he's like stroking it onto his finger and he's like, if I was a smart man, I would have bought stock in KY jelly long ago and I'd be rich.
Oh man. Hell no.
Yeah. Then he's like, I'm gonna close this door. I'm really not supposed to, but it's a little more private. And I'm thinking that's odd because last time he made it a point saying I gotta leave this door open. So he closed the door.
Right.
So that's a creepy red flag and now another red flag. But I'm still, I was brought up to trust the doctor, and he looks like he should be a good person. So he's like, okay, lower your pants down. I lower my pants down, and he's like, bend over. This is like a little like desk-looking thing, and I'm looking right out the window as all the people are walking by going to chow. I can see everybody walking by this window. This dude, he puts his finger in my ass. He's making jokes. He's fishing around in there, talking about stuff. And as he's going along, this thing is starting to seem like we're going way too long for this to be an exam. And his hand slips around my waist. Yeah, his hand slips around my waist, and he brushes my motherfucking my junk, right?
He tried to get your manhood.
He was trying to, he's trying to touch my shit, and he basically what he was trying to do was he was going to try to whack me and poke me in the butt.
Right. Try to get you.
Hey man, so I climbed off. What are you doing? What are you doing? I'm yelling real loud now. I climbed off his finger and I'm pulling my shit up, and the nurse comes in. What's going on? I said, this dude was just fucking fingering my ass, trying to touch my dick. So, the police come and they make this shit look like I'm the one in the wrong because I'm being loud and shit, right?
Right.
They take me out of there, and then I ended up. I wrote an article about it, and a couple of years later, and my editor tells me, he's like at the Marshall Project. He's like, well, we gotta check because I used the dude's name. This fucker raped me. That's what he did.
Right.
Like, we gotta check this out. Yeah. He's like, well, we got to check this out because we can't just go publishing stuff like this without having any type of, got to verify at least some of it. So come to find out, this doctor had been kicked out of the state of New York. I think it was New York. Yes, state of New York. He worked in their prison system because he couldn't get same thing because he was kicked out of private practice for the same deviant shit. And in New York, he was being sued for what? Putting his finger in people's asses and doing some weird sexual shit to them. That's the kind of doctor that we had, that they had hired right here in Michigan. Motherfucker that was already booted out somewhere else.
Dr. Kevorkian.
No, Kevorkian was a great guy. I knew Kevorkian. This dude was.
I know. They said he was good.
Yeah.
They said he was good.
So,
man.
Yeah, that was a hard thing to just talk about. No man.
I know it was, bro.
Shit. But that's how important changing the system is. For a long time, I couldn't even discuss this shit. You see, I'm laughing when I'm saying it, but that's my.
I already know. I'm looking down at you.
I feel like I want to cry or I want to smash this phone. You know what I'm saying?
Most definitely.
It upsets me that the system allowed that to happen to me. It's just horrible. And just think of all the other people that this has happened to. If it's happened to me, this has happened across the board many, many, many times. So
most definitely.
That's my worst experience with healthcare. Even though they try to kill me with my kidneys, so I peed blood. I went over there and peeing blood for like 2 or 3 days, and they keep saying drink water. Well, come to find out, my kidneys were shutting down. Drink water. Keep drinking water. I'm like, I think I need to go to the hospital. Drink water. I said, you look into. Look, I brought the police into the bathroom. I said, look into this toilet. It's all blood.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Drink water. Finally, it got somebody to, to do one of those tests to see whatever. It's like it checks like protein in your blood or something. Then they're like, oh shit, yeah, his kidneys are shutting off. That's 3 days later.
Most definitely, for sure. That's, man, my heart, listen, I feel for you, bro, because I wouldn't know what the fuck to do or how to react if I was faced with that situation, for sure. I haven't had, too many, healthcare scares, but that's crazy.
Well, you're still very young, when I was real young, I didn't have any problems, maybe like a pulled muscle or something like that, and I'd go to healthcare. They always say the same thing. You drink lots of water, don't smoke or whatever. And I never smoked anyways. And I used to be like, why do you always say the same shit? Drink water, don't smoke. Here's it. Oh, no, go buy some Tylenol.
Go buy some. We can't give you shit.
Well, you might not have had a lot of problems, but I bet you know somebody who's died due to
And that's what I said. Like, a lot of guys, I've been around enough. Like I said, you've been out 20 plus, 25 plus, been out 14 years, and I see a lot of guys that go over there or have like problems that are potentially kill them, and they do absolutely nothing for them or little to nothing for them. That's what they tell you. Go buy Tylenol. I'm in pain. Go buy Tylenol. They ain't gonna give you shit. Just go buy it.
Yeah, like George upstairs, Mr. George.
Yeah. Oh my God.
They put him on a colonoscopy bag. Is that what it's called? The bag where you have to poop in the bag?
Yeah.
They had him on one of those. He had cancer and things. He had a surgery, and they put him on that bag. Then they said, "Well, we'll take you off of it after some healing period and time like that." Well, the period went by, and he's like, "Okay, let's take this bag out." And they're like, "No, it's cost effective to just keep it in. It's cheaper to leave you with the bag for us than to do the operation." And he had to fight for years to get put back to normal. And thank God we had a good warden at the time. Remember Warden Chapman? I think it was Chapman.
Yeah,
he went. He basically called healthcare and said, "You're going to fix him. You can't leave this man. If it can be fixed, fix it." But they were just to save money. They were going to leave him having a poop bag the rest of his life because they said to him, "He's too old. The operation isn't worth the money." What the fuck kind of shit? We live in America, don't we? Who the fuck gets to make a decision? You're too old. You don't get to have a better quality of life. This shit's fucking ridiculous. And speaking of friends or people we know that died, I had a buddy of mine named Mike Bomia. He would go to healthcare for pains in his lower abdomen, and he would have blood in his urine, and he would kept bringing it up to him, and they kept telling him, "Oh, it's bladder stones. There's nothing we can do." And this went on for several years. Finally got out of prison. He went home, went to see his family doctor, and the doctor was like, "Oh, no, this is..." He sent him for tests, and the long story short, it come to find out he had a tumor in his bladder. And by this time, it was really large, and it was curable. He had cancer. He was going to die. And then they sent for his... they looked through his prison records, and it come to find out they did the test. They knew. The prison system, the healthcare knew years earlier that he had it. They did nothing about it. Yeah. So, basically they killed him.
That's what they did. Shit. It was the cause of his death.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, of course. And his family sued, but that does no good for him. He's dead.
Right. Yeah. He lost a life. That's crazy, right? And right, so look, right, and this goes hand in hand too with prison healthcare because guys be out here sick, right? And they will have natural life, or they'd be here just for a long indeterminate sentence, and they would have stage 4 cancer, or they would have some type of ailment that essentially lead to the cause of their death, and they still wouldn't let them out. The guy Pi, he did 50 something years. He was dying. They still wouldn't he literally was dying in months. They still wouldn't let him out to go say nothing to his family and nothing.
I feel you. You remember Paulie down there? He had
oh my God, man.
cancer. He had 13 months left. That was it. He had terminal cancer, and it had spread throughout his whole body. And that's another thing. You know, he kept going to healthcare, and it took about 7 or 8 months for him to convince them that he was just telling the truth, because he kept saying he had pain in his face and his head, and they didn't believe him. You know, they thought they give you the same spiel every time. They think people are going over there trying to get pain drugs. It took them several months just to even start to think that he might be sick. And by the time that they got around to it, he had cancer. And then they tried treating him for a couple years, and ultimately he lost the fight. And they told him, but they said, you're dying. At one point they said, you got about 30 to 60 days to live. And you had the entire U of M trying to get him a medical commutation. Prison system was trying to get him everybody was trying to get him a medical commutation, and the governor at that time wouldn't let him go. Only 13 months early. He was going to get out 13 months later anyways. If he could have survived that long. They wouldn't let him go 13 months early just so he could die at home. That's, in my book, absolutely wrong.
Crazy.
Bad. I mean,
it's crazy.
You know,
and he stopped taking his pills. He stopped taking it. He was distraught. He was defeated. He was like, they won't even let me home. I have 13 months left. He stopped taking all his pills.
I mean, I can't get it because I've never been in that situation, but I get it. You know what I'm saying? I understand.
No, we feel it.
Despair and there's a reason why we call it death care. I mean,
yeah.
I'm going to walk through the process a little bit. So to see a doctor in prison is almost impossible. So I've been in prison 28 years. I can probably tell you the number of times I've seen an actual doctor, counting the time when the one raped me, on two hands. Usually you see a nurse and you get diagnosed, or you'll see a nurse practitioner or a physician's assistant. That's okay. They're all good at their own jobs, but here in prison we often have nurses diagnosing us, and I'll say to the nurse, what are you basing this on? Say, well, my experience tells me this, and I'll be like, yeah, but you didn't go to school for this. You shouldn't be diagnosed.
Well, they Google it.
I need to see it. I need to see a doctor. Yeah, they'll Google it, and they'll give you a bunch of shit off Google, and sometimes the shit they give you, like one page will say one thing, next page will say something the exact opposite, and you're left to try to figure that shit out. That's just strange. But to see a doctor, they have a system that they basically say you have to file 3 kites within 2-week period, within a 14-day period. But see, here's the catch. You file a kite, they usually don't answer the first one. It takes about 10 days. So when you file the second one, that would be 20 days. So you can't file 3 kites in a 2-week period.
Back. Consecutive. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you do file 3 of them in a 2-week period, like all at the same time, they say, well, we didn't even hear you on the first kite. What are you doing filing these other kites? And then you say, I'm filing them because I need to see the doctor. You know what I mean?
Urgent. So they got a box where you check urgent.
Yeah. Urgent, right? And they urgent my ass. You know, they don't give a shit. I was peeing blood for days, straight blood. The lady said, "Well, pee in this cup." I filled it up. It was solid blood. I said, "That right there should be an emergency." She goes, "I know you think it's bad, but it's common for people to pee blood." And I said at the time, I've never peed blood, and I'm like, this is like blood, like a vampire would have loved to drink that. It wasn't like piss with a little bread in it. It was blood.
It was blood.
Yeah.
It's common though. It's common just to take a whole fountain of blood, a whole pint of blood. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So, and like remember when Drew just went through this shit recently, man. He was literally orange with kidney failure. He was orange. Like his kidneys damn near gone. Damn near. They had him on the wrong meds. The whole time. He was just slowly deteriorating. And then he went out to somebody else for a second opinion. And you ain't supposed to be taking these meds.
Yeah. Oh my Lord.
He was dying.
See what I'm talking about?
Now you got to get a whole blood transfusion.
Yeah, he had to go dialysis. They had to clean his blood out.
It's crazy.
It's just Yeah, it is. It is absolutely crazy. Do you know, like, for years, they've been trying to talk me into pulling my back teeth. They always say, "Yeah, look, we wanna send you to a specialist and pull your." They get all excited. We're gonna pull your back teeth out, the wisdom teeth, and I'll say no.
Yeah.
They'll be like, "Well, what do you mean no?" I'm like, "They're not bothering me. I mean,
Right.
I'm fucking 48 years old. I've never had a cavity, and they're trying to pull teeth out of my mouth.
Right.
I don't understand it, but I think it must be a money thing. They probably get paid to do that because
They pay the tooth fairy.
every couple of years they're trying to talk me into pulling them teeth out of there. I say the same shit, no. And they're like, "Well, why?" "Well, why would you pull them? They're not hurting me. I chew with
They're
them
not doing
things.
that
Why
too.
would I want them pulled out of my
Right.
mouth?" Oh,
If they're supposed to grow there, they're supposed to be there.
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So
Yeah.
that's just
And that's
thing.
like,
And that's the remedy for everything. Pull it out. It's not even hurting. Just pull it out.
pull it out. Yeah, how many people you seen here that have no teeth because they just pull your teeth? They
Bro.
love pulling teeth. You have one little cavity,
Bro,
we're
Willie-
gonna pull it. We gotta pull that.
Yeah. Willie's 18, bro. Willie's like, they're not even 20 years old. And every time they pull his teeth out. He got like 3 teeth missing.
You talking about my monkey?
Yeah. He got like 3 teeth missing. He's not even 20
Yeah.
yet. They keep pulling
Yeah.
this shit out. They just pull this shit out like a month ago.
Yeah, I know. I told him don't. I said, "Man, you better fight. Don't let them do that shit. Tell him to fill that shit." 20-year-old kid,
Yeah.
not even 20, and they're pulling all of his teeth out of his mouth.
It's crazy.
If I
You're
sit
saying,
here,
man.
we sit here and think about this shit. No matter what, we could think of stories for days. So, but like I
Yeah,
said,
for
no
real.
matter how this went, this podcast was not going to do justice to the injustice that we suffer with our health care. Let's not even get
Most
started
definitely.
on if somebody falls out. When they
Oh, man.
the speed at which they come
Oh,
for an
man.
emergency. They stroll over here nice
man.
and slow. "Oh, he's having a heart
With
attack?
oxygen
As
tank.
soon as I'm done with my coffee, I'll be over there."
It's crazy.
So,
They literally just told the guy that just passed out not too long ago, like, I think it was like last week or some shit like that. He passed out, hit his head 10 different times on the way down. And they came up here with the oxygen tank and stuff like that. And they literally just said, like, yeah, just splash water on him to wake him up.
oh, yeah, country, yeah.
Country. He
Right,
fell out.
yeah.
He already on the cane and he fell out.
Yeah. All right, so let's close this one up. Start another one.
Okay,
what do we do
okay.
here? What do we do here at Live from the Plantation?
We break the chains, my dude. Break the chains.
Break the motherfucking chains. Whether they be fighting healthcare, talking about injustice that involves healthcare, break the chains.
Right, for sure.
Close us on out.
For sure, man. Okay, man. Thanks for tuning in for another one, a great one on the XV3 Red Zone radio station, or it's not a radio station, it's a podcast. See, I've been doing this shit for so long, I don't even know what it is no more. I even know what it is no more, man. Hey, so look, tune in, man, next time, man. Y'all family at around this point. Flat out. Let's get it.